But the question is, in terms of what the council's got to put in, and particularly given the economic circumstances that we're in now, can we actually afford it? And that's where I have serious concerns. So the council is making a contribution of 27.3 million. About half of that is funded by earmarked capital receipts, and we've had a little bit more detail. I'm glad now we've started to remember what the capital receipts are that we're putting into it, because officers didn't seem to be able to recall that at scrutiny on Tuesday, which was quite alarming. But we've also got half of the funding coming from borrowing, which the council is taking on. And the question is, what is the impact on allocating these receipts and also undertaking this borrowing going to have on the council's ability to carry on providing other core services? That's my huge concern here, because those capital receipts could be being used for other things, but they're being used for this. But the borrowing, and we see within the report, in the public part of the report, there's more detail on the confidential appendices, but in the public part of the report it's clear that we're looking at a £2.9 million revenue provision within the base budget going forward. So this is how much it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us £2.9 million a year. That is a huge amount. And given that we are in a position at the moment where the council cannot afford to provide sufficient funding for a third of the city schools in order for them to be able to cover their running costs. And given that my sources who've been attending budget forum meetings have told me that they've got to prepare for that getting worse over the next couple of years, and we might get to a point where just about every school in the city is in a deficit budget position. You know, can we really afford at this moment in time to make such a huge revenue allocation going forward to deliver this arena? And that's where I come from. I just do not think that we're in a position where this isn't going to have a knock-on devastating effect on the provision of core services that this council has to provide. I think we're being mortgaged to the hilt, and it's for that reason that I personally and my group do not support the funding strategy before us. But I think the council is also between a bit of a rock and a hard place, and that's where the administration has led us. Because if we don't go ahead with this, then abortive costs kick in. I mean, these are quite substantial. Again, I'm not sure I can actually detail them, because I think, again, that's been put in the confidential appendices, which, again, is alarming. You know, here we are, again, not being able to present all the information to the public. But if we don't go ahead, then we have to pick up those abortive costs. So, you know, the council is in a position where it can't particularly win one way or another financially at this stage. But that is the position that the administration has taken us to now. But I cannot, you know, hand on heart say that this is necessarily the approach that we should be taking now, because I'm deeply concerned about what it's going to mean for the availability of funding going forward.